I've played all of President Trump's great speech at Mount Rushmore, all of it. You heard every word of it. Judge for yourself. The left is going crazy. E.J. Dionne, my longtime friend at the Washington Post, called it a vile speech, denounced by everyone on the left all over. It was clear. It was to the point. It was in defense of American exceptionalism. It was wonderful. I have a Washington Post column up this morning, which I want you to hear. And then I want you to go over to WashingtonPost.com and send it everywhere. You can find it in the top right-hand corner of the landing page. The title that they put on it is, "Which do you prefer, Trump's agenda or Biden's?" This is how it reads. This is mine, by the way. It's just mine. The best commentators on the presidential race who are also partisans, and that includes about 99% of all reporters, hosts, analysts, in my view, should nonetheless be able to fairly articulate the motivations of each coalition backing either President Trump or former Vice President Joe Biden. I will be voting for Trump. He believes in the Constitution, as proved most obviously by his 2 Supreme Court justices and 53 Federal Circuit Court judges. By the way, departing from the column here, Supreme Court's going to be handing down decisions at 10 o'clock this morning. They have, I think, 14 cases left, including a huge one, Our Lady of Guadalupe. It's the most important case of the term. I expect it to be 5-4 in favor of religious freedom. We will see. Continuing from my column, President Trump will continue his military buildup, especially his expansion of the Navy, where he aims to reach 355 ships. Trump has confronted the Chinese Communist Party on its numerous crimes in a way no president has since the bilateral thaw between Mao Zedong and President Nixon begun in 1972. And Trump is yet willing to deal with the hardline leadership of China short of war. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo almost daily articulates and advances Trump's understanding of the new Cold War with China we find ourselves in. If there's any doubt about that, consider a recent speech by Robert C. O'Brien, in which the president's national security advisor declared, quote, "The Chinese Communist Party is a Marxist-Leninist organization. The party general secretary Xi Jinping sees himself as Joseph Stalin's successor." I continue. Attorney General William P. Barr is a deeply intelligent, experienced, and relentless force for the rule of law. Trump's supporters hope that Barr oversees the rapid conclusion of U.S. Attorney John Durham's investigation into the interference with the peaceful transition of power after Trump's surprise 2016 win, and a cleansing from the government of those who refuse to honor the people's votes. Trump has pushed through a massive deregulation of the American economy, and his supporters want more of this shrinking of federal control. Support, by contrast, for Biden rests on many pillars, I continue. He is genuinely pleasant and amiable, a calm and welcoming presence. Many of his supporters simply yearn for an era of domestic goodwill, of reborn civility, and believe Biden will be gracious and kind to all. Biden's supporters want taxes raised significantly to build infrastructure and to raise up long underserved Americans. Biden will defend and expand President Barack Obama's signature legislative achievement in health care. Biden's judges will be the opposite of Trump's, ready to leave the job of umpire and eager to participate in a long overdue injection of their understandings of equality into American institutions. Biden's judges will almost certainly see nothing wrong with the return of race-based rewards or in limiting the newly invigorated free exercise clause. The return of goals and timetables, if not explicit quotas, will likely be assured. Teachers' unions expect a massive infusion of federal funding, and public employee unions generally expect the same for their beleaguered state-administered pension funds. I conclude, though Biden has said he is against it, his supporters may expect him to sign a bill that increases the number of Supreme Court justices in a successful replay of Franklin Roosevelt's failed 1937 plan to pack the court. Indeed, most of Biden's supporters will want a new millennium version of FDR, relentlessly experimenting with new agencies and programs, changing everything often in the name of social justice. His appointees will be from the left and the far left. This lurch to the left will be a feature, not a bug, of the Democratic coalition that has moved well to the left of Bill Clinton's or even Obama's supporters. A Green New Deal will be law, and the United States will rejoin the Paris Climate Agreement, and the Europeans committed to reviving the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or Iran deal. Trump's proposed peace plan for Israel and the Palestinian Authority will be withdrawn. Biden supporters hope he will use soft power to coax the People's Republic of China into renewed amicable relations with the West. They expect from Biden a return to the national security as administered as it had been until Trump by the standing, though informal, Central Committee of Foreign Policy Grandees of New York and Washington. Amnesty for people in the country without permission will be a first 100 days goal for some, and the hated border wall will be likely defunded or stopped. A Democratic Congress could impose universal voting by mail on the states in the name of ending voter suppression. That's a fair statement of the expectations of both coalitions on this weekend celebrating shared freedoms. Both President Biden and Trump, Vice President Biden and President Trump should begin debating their visions across the stage, facilitated by fair moderators soon. That's the Washington Post comment. It's fair. It's completely fair. It's objective. 100% on the mark. It is unbelievably yielded. Let me check. More than 5,000 comments already. 5,000 comments, which I'm sure are supportive. See, if you're just honest, 5,200 comments. If you're just honest, if you use clarity, the left goes nuts. So what did you think about President Trump's speech? 1-800-520-1234. 1-800-520-1234. I want to hear what you thought about the speech. You've heard what I thought about it, what the left thinks about it. I want to hear what you think about it. Also want to do the market story of the day brought to you by AndrewandTodd.com. Andrew and Todd are with Sierra Pacific Mortgage.